I'm a survivor of extreme sexual trauma. It started when I was 2 years old, and it didn't end until I was 17. And when I was a child, I was born and raised with horses, and in their stall was my safe place. I used to hide. I used to brush their mane. I was somebody different with the horses. I had purpose. I had visions. I had dreams of who I wanted to be. But I lost my voice. And when I did, I started to make poor choices. I started to go on a pretty destructive path. Drugs and alcohol became my friend. They were my coping skill. They showed me the way because I couldn't find my own way. And throughout my life, depression and anxiety were just an easy coping skill. And about 25 years ago, I was in a pretty dark place, and I went out to an area called Rio Verde, which is North Scottsdale, where actually our ranch is located. And I actually went out there to commit suicide. And this is the part that always gets me emotional. I've shared this testimony time and time again, but it always brings me back to thankfulness. Because when I sat in my car making that decision to die, I made a decision to live. And what caused me to live was horses started to surround my car. They were wild horses. They didn't know who I was, but they represented me as a child when I was in that stall in a safe place. They represented hope. They represented a purpose. They represented dreams that I couldn't comprehend. And when I began to think back and I thought, what am I going to do with this? This is too painful. What am I doing with this purpose? And I started to have dreams about building a ranch with horses that would help survivors that had been through similar struggles like I had and give them life and dreams, hope, and a purpose. About 8 years ago, I was talking to somebody and she said, what do you want to do with your life? And I told her my testimony. I told her my passion, my dream, because it seemed unreachable. And she said, let's just invite girls that have been trafficked to your ranch and let's just try it. Kind of a Hail Mary. And when I did, when these girls came on the property, I noticed something different. We didn't have to say anything. We didn't have to listen to their story. We didn't have to go back to their past or their trauma. We just were in that moment with them. And when we did, and we watched the horses, we watched transformation happen. It was easy. It wasn't painful. We had some of the toughest girls on our property that had been through some of the toughest struggles with being trafficked, with being raped, with being abused, with being kidnapped. And they were somebody totally different with the horses. So we thought to ourselves, okay, let's do this. Let's really be trained on how the benefits of horses do this. And so we started to go to a program called Egala. And what Egala did was it trained us how to watch the horses, watch their behavior, and ask simple questions. Because this is how this works. And everybody says, okay, what's this equine therapy? What's it all about? But how it works, so imagine this. Imagine you've been through something traumatic and you're unable to comfort yourself. Because what do we have? We have a fight, flight, or freeze response, right? We want to run, we want to fight, or we just freeze. And nobody is in that moment that comforts us. What happens with horses is they are able to mirror that emotion And you're able to find comfort by comforting the horse. You become the comforter in that traumatic moment. And what it does is it changes the chemistry in your brain and the new pathways. Next thing you know, you are the comforter to yourself in that traumatic experience. It's powerful. It's powerful. And what we're gonna do today is I'm gonna train you guys to be expert horsemen without a horse. You guys are gonna be expert horsemen without a horse. Because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna train you on being aware of your own emotions when you look at certain pictures. Here's a couple testimonies. Horses showed my weakness and allowed me to not be in charge. Totally a flipped understanding, because when we're survivors, we have to be in control. When we've been through traumatic experiences, we have to be in control because chaos erupted during that trauma, right? There was chaos. And what happens in our brain is we go default to that control mechanism. It's easy, it's an easy understanding. What horses do is you're not in control. We've got 10 horses on the property, and they remind me every single day that I am not in control. I will go out to the barn, think that I'm all that, and I walk away going, oh, yes, sir, yes, ma'am. They are incredible teachers. If you are self-aware, if you understand what you've been through, or you're understanding a little bit about what you're wanting to learn, you're gonna be that expert horseman. By the time you all leave here today, you're gonna be an expert horseman. They taught me to trust in my leadership. When I wanted to run away, I knew I should stay and be still and trust. Trusting is huge with survivors of anything. Even if you've been in a car accident, trusting when you're behind the wheel that you are gonna be okay when you get to point A and B. Trust is a big thing. What horses do in their leadership skills is they teach you to be a leader quickly. Because we always say with horses, you don't want them to move your feet. Trust me. If you allow a horse to move your feet, all of a sudden, they're in control. And they walk all over you. But if you let them know, hey, I'm the leader, I don't feel like one today, I feel pretty weak, I'm pretty tired, I feel pretty beat up, it doesn't matter. The walk is what causes you to be that leader. And we teach that in just a walk. Walking a horse teaches you to be that leader that you never thought you were, even if you're a toe ahead. I had somebody say to me, I said, but there's no way that I can do this heart, this mission that I feel called to do. And she said to me, and I'll never forget it, all you have to be is a toe ahead. Just a toe. Just a toe ahead. And I want to encourage us to be a toe ahead in your journey and in your process, or with your family member, or with your community, or with your peers. Whatever your mountain is, we're going to teach that leadership today. Help me walk in my identity as I learn to lead from a place of rest. A place of rest? Who didn't sleep last night? I know a couple people in here that didn't sleep very well. Who didn't sleep? But what we can teach is to learn how to rest even in the midst of the chaos. It's a hard lesson to learn. I've had to learn it many times. As a survivor, you are taught. I in my journey, was a fight or flight. So rest was not in my vocabulary. You work harder. You work harder because you want to run. You want to be that runner. Horses teach you how to rest. So how does it work? This is always the biggest question. Everybody always says, so did you teach your horse how to do this? how does your horse know how to understand what I'm going through? It's in how horses are created. Horses are preyed upon, right? They're preyed upon. So when you see a horse, their ears are up and they know their environment before you do. A lot of times when I ride probably 6 days a week, probably 2-3 horses a day. And when I ride, I always watch my horse. We have a location in Flagstaff, and I ride in the woods. That's kind of my favorite time. You hear the wind through the trees. You see the elk. You see the deer. It's just you and the horse. It's one of the most amazing times of my life. And I'll watch the horse and their ears. And I'll be like, gosh, there's nothing even around here. We're in the middle of nowhere. Nothing. And I'll look, and I'll stop, and I'll watch, and I'll listen. Next thing you know, a big elk or a big deer will pop up. The horse knows. They know their environment. Does that sound familiar with survivors? We as survivors, whatever it could be, whatever you've been through, you have survived something. If there's nothing that you've had to endure, bless you. But I want to say 99% of us in this room have survived something. You know your environment. In my past, I used to go to a restaurant and I used to sit with my back against the wall. I needed to know my surroundings. We've got Craig Sawyer in here for Vets for Child Rescue, ex-Navy SEAL. I guarantee you he knows where the exits are. I guarantee you he knows how to get in and how to get out. That's how he was trained. That's how survivors are trained. We know how to get in and how to get out. How to get in, how to get out. How to get in, how to get out. That is a continual brain pattern that we learn. What horses will start doing is teaching you, okay, all right, you need to get in and get out. Let me comfort you in that process. Let me walk with you in that process. Let me teach you leadership in that process. Let me teach you courage in that process. That's what survivors need, is somebody just to walk with us and not tell us what to do, but to teach us and to walk with us. Horses will begin to mirror, and we just ask questions. A lot of times we'll say, we'll kind of get a little bit of a background and we'll kind of want to know a little bit of what, why you are coming to us. A good little bit of information is always necessary, of course. But we start where we stand. I'm a retired paramedic from the fire department, and we are called on mass casualties or disaster relief. They always train us, start where you stand. Totally different approach. Totally different approach, because a lot of times in therapeutic settings, they want to get to XYZ or ABC. But let's say you're only at L or M in the alphabet. Heck, you're barely able to survive the day. We start where we stand. Start where you stand. The horse may come up to that person, or the horse may simply walk away. Oh man, there's been many times where we've been in a session with somebody and I'll be like, oh, I really hope that horse engages with that person. And when they don't, it's probably more devastating to me than it is to the survivor, because so many times we want to engage with the horse, or we want to be acknowledged, or we want to be seen, or we want to be heard. Sometimes the horse will just kind of walk away. That's a tough one. Because how many times have we just had people just walk away? just walk away. What we do is we insert the comfort that was needed in the walk away. What did that represent? Who did that represent? Is that something that's happening frequently in your life? These simple, easy questions that don't prod and pull and dig and dig up, does that represent anything? Or is that somebody that did that? And next thing you know, in 5 to 20 minutes, that person is saying, gosh, I had somebody walk away from me and that really hurted in that moment. Lisa earlier was talking about just listening, just being seen and soothing that person in that moment. That's what horses do. It's so cool because next thing you know, you're talking about that moment that somebody walked away from them and they say, gosh, I felt this, or I felt that, or I felt rejected, or I was hurt, or I was angry, I was mad. All the emotions that are valid, they acknowledge them, it comes out, and we say, okay, what did you need instead? Well, I really could have used somebody just to sit with me, sit in the dirt. My staff is sitting over there on the table, and I can look at them, each and every one of them, and I can say, how many times have we sat in the dirt with a client? Sat in the dirt, crossed our legs, and sat in the dirt. Because that's what they needed. Somebody to sit in the dirt with them and just be present. What's cool, what happens, is next thing you know, that horse that walked away, that person is more aware of what they needed, guess what walks up? Sometimes, but I would say most of the time. Because all of a sudden that horse feels being accepted, invited, affirmed, soothed, seen. Does that sound familiar? All the things that we needed. All the things that we needed when we were in that traumatic experience. The horse and so many times there's been, people will say, I had a session about 6 months ago and I'm still processing. I'm still processing what happened. My goodness. One session. What they're doing is when people walk away from them, all right, what do I need? Gosh, I remember when Obadiah, the horse, the wild Mustang, walked away from me, and I was devastated at that. And it broke my heart. And to be honest with you, there's usually tears. I wear sunglasses quite frequently because there's always tears in my eyes. It gets me choked up because you want people to be seen and acknowledged and heard so bad. But it has to be a process that you have to feel and understand and recognize. That's the key. I'm going to teach you guys how to be horsemen without horses. I hope that I have a couple people that are bold, but you might want to hide because I might call you out. Just don't look at me. I want to encourage us now to take a moment when I show you these pictures. Think about what emotion's coming up. Right, wrong, or indifferent. We always say there's no wrong answer. No wrong answer. Your interpretation is different from my interpretation. Or their interpretation is totally different from Craig's interpretation or Lisa's interpretation. We all have different interpretations, so it doesn't matter. It's what's going on with you in that very moment that you're going to find out. Sometimes at the ranch, my horses will be acting up. I know it's a surprise. When you get to know me a little bit, you'll be like, oh yeah, now I see why. There's certain horses that I know that if I'm in not a good place, I stay away because they pick up. They start pinning their ears. They start looking at me. They start looking at me with that hairy eye. And I'll think, oh, all right. I take a moment, sometimes, not all the time, step back. All right, what's going on with you, Vanessa? What's going on with you today, Vanessa? All right, well, I'm pretty upset about this, or I'm pretty upset about that, or this is going on, or I'm excited, or I'm nervous. Whatever emotion, these horses will start picking up that. They'll start pinning their ears, walking away, doing all kinds of things. I start to reflect, what do I need? You know, the other day we've got a horse that he's lame is a term that they're sore. They got a sore foot or a sore leg or something sore. And he's lame right now. And what he represented was people in my life that have been hurt, that are unable to walk. Metaphorically, they've got a limp. And you kind of see them limping around. You see what's going on in their heart. You hear about what's going on in their life, and they've got a limp. And when I was doctoring this horse, my heart just broke. And I started to just cry because there's so many people that are hurting that need a little bit of support, a little bit of soothing, a little bit of comfort, a little bit of understanding. Sure enough, another horse came who represents one of my best friends that just passed away about 4 years ago. He represents this person every time to me, comes and literally wraps his head around my body, and I'm encapsulated by these two horses. Come on. I was crying. When I walked away, I thought to myself, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. It soothed me, it comforted me, it validated me, and it saw me. The horse saw me. The horse was in a pen as far as that corner, beelined it to me, wrapped his body around me. He saw me. As a survivor, we need to be seen or heard. And easily, he did that. And I haven't shed a tear. I get a little emotional because it's a powerful story. It's a powerful testimony. But it doesn't have that same grip on me as it did before, of that heartbreak that I felt, of people that are just kind of limping along. It didn't have that grip, because it's gonna be okay. Ready to be an expert? All right. Who wants to be bold? Take a moment. Trust? Yeah. Hunger? Thirsty? Calm. Beauty. One picture. Now, everybody that was bold and said something, somebody said trust and unity. Man, don't we need that today? What we would do is we would say, are there areas in your life that you need to build more trust? Are there areas of your life that you need more unity? Let's just pull the word unity out. It could be easily, if you're in the business world, you've got chaos in the office, people are leaving, there's no unity, there's no camaraderie. Next thing you know is we're saying, okay, how do we build unity in your office? How do we build community in your office? How do we build trust in your office? We're just talking about a picture. You guys are experts because the story behind this picture is the middle horse is a new horse. She's the low man. You see the one is a mother and a daughter. Foster care. Group homes. How do we build unity in our group homes? How do we build unity in the foster care? When we're a family unit and somebody comes new, let's say you're in your office and somebody comes in, kind of stirs up some personalities. How do we invite that person in the middle horse, the new horse, to build unity, trust, peace, and confidence? Anybody else? Anybody on the bottom picture with the gentleman standing? Bonding. Support.
Sizing them up.
Ooh. Unsure. Sizing up and unsure. If you look at that bottom picture, the horse's head is turned away and the person is looking straight at that horse. Let me take it one step further. Look at the ground. You know, I need to have this picture a little because this is a powerful testimony. This gentleman has given me permission, but he was with the Secret Service. He's seen a couple things. He has been through a couple things. He's been a part of things that he wished that he wasn't a part of even. You look at the hard ground that the horse is standing on. Now, take your eyes a little bit further, and the ground around it has been worked on, right? Can you guys see that? What came out of this one session was that the arena around that had that ground represented 80% of his life that he's been working on. He's done a lot of work, a lot of therapy, a lot of healing, a lot of understanding, but that middle ring was the middle part of his heart that was hard. Hard heart. You see the horse turning away. Pretty powerful. When we talked about it and we worked through it and we processed through it, he said, I gotta start where I stand. I gotta start where I stand. My marriage is falling apart. My business is falling apart. My world is falling apart. I gotta start where I stand. Now, he's unstoppable. Unstoppable. What about the black and white picture? Rest. Anything else? Serenity. What about surrender? Vulnerability. Big time. When you see horses laying down, that is the ultimate act of surrender and trust to one another. Many times we'll see horses laying down together. There's nothing like that. It's unstoppable, that bond. Because they're resting together. They're surrendering together. There's unity together. There's understanding together. What about the big one?
Curious.
Which one?
Curious.
Curious. Why?
This is really close to the lens.
Okay.
Playful.
Playful. Vigilant. Affection. What about their ears? Okay.
The one closest here, the ears are up. The other one is a little back, so there's a little bit of insecurity on one part, but the other one is sturdy and solid in her stage.
When are you coming to the ranch and start working?
Right now, you busy?
Right. Great observation. How easy would it be to talk about that picture with just the ears? She said one are forward and one's a little bit back. How many times when we're with a survivor, we're working with a survivor, or we are a survivor, Our body language is saying, get the heck away from me, now. But predators are going, oh, okay. That groom, that talk, that closeness. What we teach is when our ears are back, our body language is a little different, back off, step off. We have to teach that to our children, to ourselves. When we have been a survivor, whatever it is, I would say 99% of us in this room are survivors. How many times has your body language said, back off, back off? But we keep on getting encroached upon. We keep on getting groomed. That behavior hasn't stopped. It keeps on coming full circle. Gosh, I can't get away from this circle of being a victim. Guess what? We're gonna teach you how to stand up. Heck, there's been times in a session where we said, what does that horse mean that has the ears forward, that's kind of grooming or presenting itself a little bit inappropriately? They'll say, I need that horse out of here. Woo! Ask my team. We're like, yeah, get it, get it, get it. And we'll say, go grab a halter, or we'll teach you how to put a halter on, and march that horse right out. Next thing you know, you see a survivor going, yep, yep, yep. And they put that horse in a stall, and they lock it down, they put the chain on it, and they walk away. Gives me chills. I think you can hear us cheering louder than the person. Because we are out there going, get it! You've got this! You know, and sometimes you'll see that survivor going, I can't do it, and they're dragging the horse, and we'll say, get powerful, get that leadership, get big, get big. Lockdown. See ya. What about this picture? I get excited. Nobody? Everyone's like,
Looking out for another protection.
Yep, overwatch.
Protection.
Yeah. Yeah. That mother hen. I got you. Go do you. Go do you. Go eat. Go graze. Go enjoy. Be free. This horse was free. The story behind this picture is I was on a trail ride, and I was on this horse. Her name is Ruby. And Annie was with me, and there was something inside of me that just said, let her go. Let her go. Let her go. So I thought, okay, let her go. And I snapped that picture because what it represents is exactly that. She had her eyes. She was scanning. She knew the environment. She was looking back and forth. I got you. How many times do we need that? How many times do we wish that we had that? Trust. Trust. Do you see the gentleman do you see a person in there? What about that? Yeah.
Confidence. The horses have confidence.
Yeah. Yeah. How many horses are there? 4. What about the horse that has his butt a little bit separated from the 3 girls? The 3 other butts. Need I say more? Just that little picture has brought up so many cool conversations. Because a lot of times, the men in the room, you say to yourself, this whole trafficking, child abuse, you've been married to somebody that was abused, or you've experienced it, or you know somebody, and you as men, and I can testify, if my husband were here, he's fishing, He can say so many times, I have had to kind of, because I don't know how to do this. I had to kind of shift away a little bit. Because you don't want to re-abuse. You don't want to re-traumatize. And I have to say to the men in this room, it's okay. It's okay. Whatever position you take, it's okay. Just stand and be. Just stand. See that person. Acknowledge that person. You don't have to say anything, just see. Just see. Just look. Because the men in this room, I commend you for being in this room. This is a powerful conference. There's a powerful speakers, and I commend the men in the room, and I hope that we have more men that do this. So I say to the men, rise up. Rise up and roar. Powerful men in this room. And that's actually my husband, and he's actually kind of going, because the three butts to the other side are the mares. And mares are women. Mares are alpha usually. Mares are strong personality. And he's the one going, This lady look familiar to you? This is one of my heartstring pictures. This is Isabella. All of a sudden, Isabella laid down. And my beautiful friend joined her in the rest. And they rested together. It's a vulnerable picture. It's a vulnerable position. It's a vulnerable place to be. And I know that I was training you to be an expert, but I want to make sure that we recognize the vulnerability of sitting in the dirt. Lisa is a forerunner of sitting in the dirt. She is a forerunner of being present. She is sitting in the darkness and just being. So I commend my friend, I commend Lisa for being that. But what other emotions are coming out of this picture? Anybody? There's a sense of what?
Sensitivity.
Yes.
Comfort.
Comfort.
Connection.
Release.
And what?
Release.
Soothe. Oh, Lisa, they're all speaking of you. Didn't you guys all describe Lisa? You guys used one word and described Lisa and what she's doing in this race, in this fight. Bringing unity. What are your good results? What are you going to find out when you meet a horse? What can I guarantee you if you are ready and you are willing and you are able? Here are the results. Respect, confidence, hope, leadership, boundaries. Woo. That B word. It's one of the hardest words. You know, I had to set boundaries with a lot of people in my life. And that B word is a bad word for a lot of people. We have one horse, his name is Par. Oh my gosh. He will walk up to you and push you over. He will bite you. He will pin his ears at you. He will do whatever. And we always warn you, if you're working with Par and you come to the ranch and you say to me, who am I working with? And I say, Par, oof. It means that you're going to learn how to have better boundaries because he's going to teach you. There's been a lot of times that we'll be in a session and all of a sudden Par will start biting me. Take one for the team, Vanessa. And he'll just bite and bite and bite because he's feeling a lot of aggression and irritability and anger and resentment. And what I have to do is I have to talk to that person and say, what's going on? And my arm is usually just take one for the team. Here's a testimony of what Par has done. We had a Green Beret come out and work with us, veteran. Green Beret, need I say more? When he would drive on the property, you would feel. And I would say to this person, I would say, gosh, how was your drive out? Oh, I didn't kill anyone on the way here, but I made it. You go, okay. Okay. But he was always honest. He was always honest. And I had Par in the arena because I knew that we had to work on some things, and Par is just ripping, running around the arena, full bore. I finally looked at this person and I said, what does this represent? Is this something that's happening? This person said, that's me. I can't stop. I can't stop. And I said, if this continues, I have to be an advocate for this horse at this time, because if he continues, he's going to kill himself, because the horse wouldn't stop. He said, that's me. If I continue, I'm going to kill myself. Looks a lot better for me than life. Okay, all right. Let's go through this. What does this horse need? I said to this person. He needs to be in a safe place. He needs to, and I don't know if these were his words, it's a little touchy-feely, but he said, basically, I'm summarizing, I need to be in a safe place. I need to be shut down. I need to be secure. Okay, how do we do that? Remember, you're in control. We're not. We call the horses the staff. They're the ones, and you. I said, what do you want? Well, I need him to go in a stall and be comforted. And again, I'm using the touchy-feely word, so it's a Green Beret. He grabbed a halter, put the halter on the horse, walked the horse into the barn, into the stall. The horse is huffing and puffing, breathing super hard. He stands with that horse. We teach him how to breathe. We go back to the training of breathing. He settles down. The horse settles down. It becomes quiet. It becomes still, serene. All he did was start to breathe, removed the horse out of a situation, and it transferred into him soothing himself and what he needed. That person left a different person, because he remembered the visual of seeing that horse running around out of control. He was able to visualize himself and that horse running himself ragged. He comforted the horse, soothed it, shifted gears. He comforted himself and left a different person. Life, ability to see better boundaries, business and career, health, and finances. What do we offer? I'm going to kind of shift to, we got about 5 more minutes. A lot of times people will say, how does this work? How do I sign up? When you come on the ranch, obviously you check in with our office and you sign up and blah, blah, blah. But when you come on the ranch, this is the cool part, is you're going to be meted by the crew, the welcoming crew, and that's our dogs. They're going to run right up to you. They're going to run right up to your car and welcome you. And you're going to be like, oh, we're already starting. A lot of times people come on the property and go, is my session already starting? I'm like, because we watch everything. We watch the horses, we watch the dogs, and we're able to recognize what's happening. And the anxiety, the fear, all of those things, we're able to kind of talk you through it and help you recognize it. We have a program that we offer. It's about an 8 to 10 week program. Big commitment. It's a big commitment. Because we're investing in you and you're investing in us. It's an investment. It's not just therapy. It's not just coming out to play with the horses. It's an investment into your future, your family's future, and your community's future. We're investing in one another. Many times people will say, well, I just, I'm not ready to make that kind of investment. All right, come out to the ranch. Once a month, we offer Experience the Ranch. You can come, it's a group setting. We're not gonna go in too deep, it's 2 hours long, but at least you can see what this is all about. It's a big thing, it's pretty cool. And team building, of course. All right, got a couple minutes left. How do I get involved? Invite us. Invite us to your community, your church, your school, your family, whatever it could be. Invite us to come and give a little opportunity to train your community to be a horse expert, because I believe everybody is a horse expert. You've got it. You've got it in you. Invite us. We have a movie that was filmed out at the ranch about a girl that was trafficked and has a renewal at the ranch. November 5th is our big chili cook-off. Come to the ranch, you'll see it. We've got chili. Sign up to be a chili contestant. Mounted archery, cattle sorting, canine demonstrations, testimonies, barn lightings. Come on. Live music. Let's go. November 5th. Mark your calendar. Join us. If you want to be a partner, we're always looking for partners. We're a 501c3. Just like Lisa, we don't want to be told what to do. We're forerunners. We're believers. We believe. We go forward. We're going across the nation. We're running. We're gathering. We're the troops. We're on horseback. Let's go. Join us. Be a partner. Volunteer. Always could use volunteers. And last but not least, if you want to sponsor a horse, today I had 2 horses that are being sponsored. 2. I've got 4 more to go. 4 more to go. Sponsor a horse for a year. Help us. Hay prices have gone up unbelievably. A bale of hay, 125 pounds. Back in the day, cost $8, $10 a bale. $25, $26. 1 bale. And there's my alarm. That is 1 bale. Help us. It's a big fight. Be a forerunner. Become a horse expert. Volunteer. Get involved. It's easy. It's fun. It's hard work. Blood, sweat, and tears. Come and be a partner with us. Thank you very much.